And a good Tuesday afternoon, everyone. Roger Hill of Wuthering Heights, VELCO Weather Hazards Forecaster. Looking across the country at the big picture, kind of a mostly zonal flow here, just a kind of a weak ridge of higher pressure extending up through the Great Lakes and parts of Canada. We have this shortwave trough that's going to come over the top of the ridge here. More jet stream energy really off the West Pacific coast, and that particular system is nothing to worry about for us. Instead, fairly tranquil weather. But we've had a little bit of flurry action this morning. It's kind of changing over and mixing with a little bit of rain showers, and that's going to be pushing on out of the region as this ridge of higher pressure will be the controlling influence. And you can really see the kind of west-southwesterly flow here, this almost zonal flow, almost west to east. And typically that brings us warmer weather, and indeed we have a warming trend with warmer temperatures working into the region. The models spell it all out for us. On the left-hand side, we have the European model. On the right-hand side, we have the GFS deterministic model, both showing the 1031 area of higher pressure. And this is ridging in, and it's going to try to clear us out. It's a kind of a slow, delayed kind of clearing, but better weather just around the corner for a short period of time. This area of higher pressure builds on in, erases the precipitation. You can see that. And then there's this little curious kind of a weak, kind of almost warm frontal kind of boundary that flirts with a little bit of sprinkles up near the northern tier regions. That could bring us a couple sprinkles in the northern tier, and that's going to be about it. And that would happen during the nighttime Wednesday night, so tomorrow night. And then beyond that point, we're going to see this area of higher pressure kind of ridge bond back, become the controlling influence on our weather, as there is a weak area of low pressure that's going to try to pull up off the coast. It's going to get tangled up with this little bit more beefy band of rain showers, this frontal boundary here. And so running that, you can kind of see the rain moves in basically on Friday night, and then a little bit too far east to get any kind of enhanced rainfall out of that. So a little bit of a tropical-like rainfall scenario here where it may come down moderately for a time, it looks like during the overnight period on Friday night, and into the early morning hours on Saturday. And then from there, that system then moves on out. We get this little secondary trough of lower pressure, some cooler air, and we flirt with a little bit of flurry and snow shower activity. Again, we're not looking at very much, but this is now getting beyond the outlook period, and that'll continue, it looks like, into Monday. And then areas of higher pressure will start to build in with a 1034 hectopascal high pressure system, so it's looking pretty good. So it would appear that this 1034 area of higher pressure is going to be the controlling influence following what happens, it looks like, for the early part of next week. This is a fairly cold area of higher pressure with coming in from Canada, but it's going to also feature another warm-up as we get into the sort of pre-holiday area just ahead of Thanksgiving. GFS ensemble in pretty good agreement with the European, and what we can see is this little bit of flurry action that's going to wind itself on down. Then we're looking at generally nothing going on here. Again, this is the grid point for Montpelier, the GFS ensemble, and then we get into Friday night, and that's the main affair there with some little bit more precipitation. Now the total QPF looks like this, so this business here is going to be about somewhere around a ½ inch, maybe 0.6 of an inch or so. Now, in terms of precipitation type, you can see that this is all snow, and then nothing, and then we're going to mostly rain. Tiny bit of snow indicated, but I don't think so. I think we're going to be warm enough for that. On the back side of that system, we will tail off with a little bit of light flurry action, fairly isolated stuff near the mountains on Saturday, probably afternoon into the Saturday night, and then a little bit more on Sunday, which is a separate weather system, kind of a trough of lower pressure working on through with colder air aloft, changing things back to all snow showers or flurries. Weather Prediction Center, next 7 days of total precipitation accumulated. You can see that the heavy stuff is in the Gulf of Mexico. This is associated with some tropical moisture there. And then an area of low pressure that tracks up the eastern seaboard but off the coast, and then out to sea it goes, not interfering with western parts of New England, upstate New York, for example. 2-meter temperature anomalies look like this, a little colder weather that's moved into the region, but we got warmer air on the backside, and that's what's working toward the region currently. And thus the next 5 days of high temperatures that are weighted between, well, running about 6 degrees to 3 degrees above normal. Not bad. And about 3 days later, we go more neutral, with temperatures kind of defaulting back to zero. The warm-up is still remaining off to the west in the Pacific Northwest. We're starting to see what looks to be a little bit more like an El Nino pattern. Cooler temperatures here, warmer anomalies up here. And down in the Caribbean Basin, we have a disturbance here that has about a 20% chance or 10% chance of becoming something, and then it's going to basically go out to sea. And this is this weather system that's it looks like it's going to cross Cuba and then go well off the eastern seaboard as high pressure builds back in, putting the guard and the block on this thing coming up the coast. That's it from here. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights. Thanks for watching.